The debate rages on. Gun rights, individual rights, protecting the kids, individual advocacy, protecting the schools. Do we install a TSA-like security point in all of our schools, and the costs associated with that? But there are two things we're not discussing. One I've discussed before, the dangers of prescription drugs, common across all of these school shooters and mass shooters. And there's one more thing that we're not talking about that all of these school shooters have in common, and that is single mothers. So a child who grows up in a household with a single mother and a man in the home who is not the biological father, what's up, Alexis, who is not the biological father, has 33 times the risk of abuse as a child who grows up in a household with a pair-bonded male-female marriage. They are more likely to be incarcerated. They are more likely to be delinquent from school or work. They're more likely to witness domestic violence and then perpetuate that behavior in adulthood. They're more likely to have emotional and behavioral problems. They're more likely to grow up in poverty. They're more likely to commit suicide. They're more likely to commit rape, and they're more likely to have substance abuse issues. So this, I think, is the second part of the debate that we're not having. We're not talking about prescription drugs. We're not talking about single motherhood. Those two things seem to have the highest degree of correlation with these school shooters and mass shooters across the board. So those are some things we need to be talking about, as opposed to, they're coming to take my guns. You're not going to take away my bump stocks. All these things that are distractions that we're focusing on them because they're divisive. But these issues, prescription drugs, I think we can all agree it would be better if people took fewer drugs. And single motherhoods, I mean, it's difficult to make an argument that single motherhood is good for kids, or that it's good for mothers, or that it's good for fathers. Now, is this to say that single mothers are bad? No. Is this to say that single fathers are bad? No. I'm simply saying that an intact male-female pair-bonded marriage, that is inarguably better for the long-term outcome for a child than a single mother or a single father. So the evidence speaks for itself. Look at the statistics and just ask yourself why we're not talking about those things. We're only talking about what's divisive and what gets us mad at each other and what gets people hot. So these issues are not divisive, and these point to what seems to be the source of the problem because it's common across all of these events, and yet we don't want to talk about it. I think because it's going to require self-analysis and it's going to require lifestyle change. We got to make tough choices. Women, you need to choose better men. Men, you need to choose better women. And we need to start treating ourselves in the way that we claim to treat people when we're virtue signaling on social media. Oh, I'm an ally of the oppressed. I am an ally of the poor. I donate to charity. All of these things we say we do, maybe we do, maybe we don't, but there's a sickness in our society that doesn't seem to be addressed in these debates. And these are the things we need to talk about. What are the core causes of violence? What are the core causes of poverty? What are the core causes of the depression that's causing us to have to take these antidepressant medications and SSRIs? Those are the things we need to be talking about. I think I went over a minute. I was trying to get it done under a minute. That was probably 2 or 3. I'll see you.